What is your site tracking? We've all had this question. We've all wondered what in the world is our site actually measuring? Maybe you have a brand new client, or maybe you have a new acquisition, or maybe you're starting a new job and you're trying to untangle a mess. You're trying to figure out where is this Facebook pixel coming from? What is firing Google Analytics? Where is everything coming from? And trying to kind of untangle things. And during this video, we're actually going to show you quite a few different tools that you can use completely for free, no signing up or anything like that, except for one, you just give an email, but it's all free. Ways to figure out these questions very easily. But first, we're going to review real quick about our clean data framework. So we start out with collect, then label, enhanced, assemble, then narrate. To dive a tiny bit deeper, collect is where you're going to map what data is going where and how it gets there. Then label is defining the behaviors and conversions that matter. Enhance is going to be where you enrich, protect, and connect data to be more useful. This is where you level up. Assemble is where you're going to get everything together to create a more useful dashboard. It's where you have this tiny little puzzle piece that you're used to, but then you put the whole thing together to make a big picture. You understand the whole thing, what's happening. The narrate is where you put it all together and you're actually turning your next steps into action. All right, so in this particular video, we're going to focus on this collect piece. Because remember, our question is all about what is your site tracking. And so the piece that we're, focusing on is collect. So what data is going where and how does it get there? Those questions are really important. What data is going where and how does it get there? So what data could be something like a page view, a scroll, a conversion, any sort of type of information that you're trying to be able to measure. Could be all kind of things. You're going to learn more about other type of behaviors when we get to another video when we talk about label. But for now, just think of it as any type of data, whatever it is. And where it's going could be the different platforms. So GA4, Meta, Google Ads, Clarity, AdRoll, Pinterest, X, all the different things that you can send data to wherever it is going. So your CRM technically. Um, and then how does it get there? Are you using Google Tag Manager? Are you using a plugin? Is there hard coded? Are these all kind of Zapier things going on? Is there browser versus server side? Where are things going? And sometimes maybe you've inherited something that is some of it's browser side, some of it's server side, and you are trying to figure out what is what. There's a tool for that. So that's what we're trying to figure out. How can we easily answer all these questions of like what is going where? And how does it get there? So we're trying to figure that out and have easy to use tools so you can figure this out in a matter of minutes and not trying to sift through this for hours and hours and hours because we've all been there, done that. So what is your site tracking? Let's figure this out really quick. So we're going to actually pull over a handy dandy screen that is our site of Measure U. We're going to zoom in just a wee bit so it's easier to kind of see what's going on. We're going to be focusing on a little bit of different Chrome extensions first, where you can use different Chrome extensions. And the one we're going to start out with is something called Wappalyzer. There's another one that you can also use that's called BuiltWith, like literally built with. You can even see right here. So BuiltWith is another one. It also has a Chrome extension. I just feel like Wappalyzer is easier to visualize because it has everything kind of color coded with logos and stuff like that. But basically what this thing is doing is just telling me how our site is built and what it is using. So we have WooCommerce, we have all these different things. So if you have a new client or a prospective client, because this has nothing to do with our site, I can go to any site and be able to look at how it's built. And I could like go through and maybe, just kind of, surf around for different, like maybe if I'm into construction companies in my area. I could go into like Google search and I look for all the different construction companies and stuff like that. And I can go see, are they using the tech that I think they should be using? Or are they using something so archaic where I know they're struggling and they're not able to really answer the questions that they need to and take action and stuff like that. So this absolutely could be a way for you to find clients like, oh, they're using the tech I want, or they're like for Shopify sites or something like that. We have some people that are really into the outdoorsy type thing or the paleo thing or the the running thing. And so if you are, those are your type of clients, you can definitely use this tool to kind of see what type of tech they're using and kind of sift through and see what they're doing. So if you click on any of these, it's just going to go to the actual documentation for the Wappalyzer and what these are. You can dig into this a little bit more, but we're not going to do that in this video. So it's just a tool for you to use. Another tool, I'm actually going to go to another page to see if we can get it to do its thing. So this is another tool that I know that there are others out there, but I feel again, just visually, this is one of my favorite ones. If you don't know, I really like things to be color coded, and it just makes it easier for my brain to process and see. And obviously, the logos make it a whole lot easier for me. So this one is Tag Hound by this company, by this person, this company. And this is actually relatively new. The past couple of years it came out. And this particular company also does one that I've been using for like a decade. And this is the UTM Builder. Back several years ago, when GA4 came out with three more UTM parameters, they were really quick to fix it and come up with something new. Just really, really great tool to use. And so when they came out with this one, I knew that they would be really quick to keep things updated and make it useful. So the cool thing about this one is that you're able to record. So as you're going from page to page to page and stuff like that, and it does show errors. I don't have an error to show you. We used to have our page set up so it would force an error so you can see it. But for instance, if you were to do like a add to cart to Facebook and you were missing some of the parameters, or same thing with GA4, it should throw you an error. The same way that you would see an error on, the Facebook pixel here or something like that, it would show you here. And so that's just something to be aware of, that you can see that here. So it doesn't give you all of the details. Like, it can't tell me that these things are coming from Google Tag Manager. I can flip this little guy on and it's going to reload and it's going to tell me that there's things happening. But unless you like dig in really, really, really deep, so like there's some things that are happening. And so it doesn't tell me that, hey, Google Tag Manager is the one sending your page views. So it's not quite there yet, but maybe one day it'll make it a little bit easier. But again, you can see everything that is here. We intentionally do have more than one GA4 on our account, but if you were coming into a new client, you might not expect to see that. So that could be something you can note down. Hey, multiple GA4s, possibly multiple tag managers, possibly multiple Facebooks and Google ads, and you can see everything. Like, so Pinterest would be listed here. All of the things would be listed here. So it's really easy, nice to use. Again, you can do the recording. It's going to show you that. You can go through and see just so many different things you can do with this tool. Obviously, you can go through and use your Meta Pixel Helper and things like that as well. But that's just going to show you on that one narrow thing. Something else that you could use, just as a little side note, is this GA debug or debugger. Let's see, we're going to turn that sucker on, and then I'm going to go through and hit inspect. So I right click, hit inspect, and then I'm going to come over to the console. This is a little bit more of a nerdier way to kind of see what things are going on behind the scenes. So you can see, hey, they sent a page view. And if we were to kind of scroll down and see things, we would eventually be able to see that there was scrolling happening, and stuff like where are we at. So here's a scroll. And we can go through and see those type of different things that are happening. Again, there are multiple Chrome extensions that would utilize this piece of the console. We troubleshoot with this quite a bit when we're looking for like cross-domain and stuff like that. So it's a great tool. However, if you're trying to figure out what is on the page to answer that question that we initially started with, this may not be the easiest thing. I feel like this right here would be a little bit easier, where you can go through and see like, oh, a general event, or these, where are they at? So you can see, oh, a scroll happened, these type of events. It's much easier to see that here than trying to see that here. Again, other Chrome extensions that you can use. I know some people love using Data Slayer, but that's only a very kind of more of a narrow view. You also, if you're doing things with server side, you can definitely come into your network and see how things are collected. And again, this is much more advanced than what most people probably want to be doing, and it's time consuming. So again, we're looking for free and easy things to do to quickly see what is happening behind the scenes. There is a new tool that Stape has. So if you just type in Stape website tracker, you should be able to find it. But otherwise, you can see the URL. This is totally free. This is the one I was mentioned. You do have to give an email, and it sends it to you, but it also shows it on the screen. So you don't even have to go into your email, um, and to be able to go through it. So I did this earlier. So that way we wouldn't have to wait. It does take about 2 to 3 minutes for it to go through and do its little processy thing. And so we have been pulling down our server side and putting it back up because obviously we teach things. And so this is kind of like a week where we pulled it down and we were teaching some stuff. So it's gonna not gonna have a good score. But it's really neat where you can go through and actually kind of see the different things where you can improve. So it's telling you kind of, hey, these things are going through client side instead of server side. Yes, client side and browser side are interchangeable. But if you wanted to go through and adjust, if you need something to be server side, like maybe you're doing meta and you need it to be server side or something like that, you can go through and see that here. And I'm not going to dive into too much. Manisha has done a recent video on this. So if you wanted to kind of go back into our Measure U or into YouTube, you can definitely see some more details with that. So there's this type of tool. Also, if you are into consent, let's see here, Cookiebot. So there's this tool, and this is me trying to remember exactly what I searched for the other day. So the Cookiebot, there is a Cookiebot checker where you can go through and kind of scan your site. So for consent, this is another tool that technically is free, but I'd be very cautious to use this if you're wanting to make defined decisions with prospects or clients, only because I know for us in the United States, in where I'm at, I don't have rules that I have to follow. And so for me, if I go to the site from my IP address, it's going to say, hey, it's not following the rules because I don't have anything popping for me. But if I were to go through a VPN and then force my IP to be something different, it would. So if you were to use this and you do have that kind of situation and you need to, then I would make sure that you have some sort of VPN tool and whatever that you're able to kind of hop through those little hoops for it. But it does be able to kind of tell you if you're following the rules or not for different places. So again, free tool, but you do have to use caution if you are in the United States and you're maybe working for a client that is in the EU for that. So hope that makes sense. Again, there's lots of other tools, but these are the ones that we use the most. And that is how we answer the question, what is your site tracking? Hope this was very helpful for you, and we'll see you on the next video.